Yeah, but I don't really care about TB and JG and all that crap. It's nothing really. It's no, you know, we're attacking. You're attacking a woman that's lost her children.
Yes, no, I agree.
Yeah.
No, the Busker.
Yeah, and the same woman that I backtracked on and took my videos down because they were attacking a woman that's lost her children. And I think that's something that we should really, you know, if we're being adults and grown ups.
So the fact that she had
most Israelis lose their kids from terror.
Yes, terror attack. There was no jihadi attack on those kids.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Right, you said that in one of your videos. So which part of the video were you backtracking on? So what you're saying is that she's a grieving mother, and you had to now backtrack on it. That is what you're saying.
Look, let's get something straight here. I feel sorry for TB, for her children.
I feel sorry for anyone.
Listen, right? Whatever happened to them kids, the law stated is that they got the maximum sentence for what that excuse my language, for that be done, right? No way he should have only got 14 years down to 9 years. I agree with it. It's sick that the government had to, under law registration, that was a maximum they could give. What should be happening? They should be on the streets fighting the law being changed from dangerous driving to life, which means 25 years. So when it come down to, when I kept hearing on stage, it was a terrorist attack. And I believed it. And so did you, Voodoo. Did you believe it as well, Voodoo?
Well, at the time, because I was at a couple of the demos where they were speaking, and yeah, at the time I did believe it was a terrorist attack. Yes,
I believed it because I was round TB for ages, mate. You know, and I know she's a grieving mother, and I know the other three mothers, and I do feel sorry for them. You know, I mean, you got to think, you are right. She's a grieving mother. She is a grieving mother. But when it goes onto the streets and they're hearing stuff what is not true, right? It doesn't matter. It wasn't a terrorist attack. Let's get that straight, right? He was a Hindu. You could be a Hindu Muslim. You could be. But when someone went round there,
I think there was a Hindu and there was a Muslim in the car. So it was
right, can you stop there, Bus Voodoo? Bus, hold up. Was it ever proven that was a Muslim passenger?
I believe so, yes, it was.
No,
yeah.
Where's the proof, Voodoo? There's been no proof of this. They've been banging us for nearly 2 years. Show us the proof there was a Muslim passenger. I've never seen it. The only thing I got there was Jew hatred.
Well, as I've said, I don't care about TB or JG or that lot anymore. I've moved past that, and they're not really what I'm focused on.
To say, I've always been proud to be British.
James Goddard regularly shares platforms with Tracy Blackwell as she talks about the crash that killed her son and his friends. The belief the truth was covered up fuels the Yellow Vest protests. This is what Mr. Goddard told us about it.
It has all the hallmarks, for me, in my personal opinion, of a terror attack. You look at it, you look at the fact that 3 boys were brutally mowed down, 2 were missed. Then we've seen the driver run off, then we've seen the passenger run off, and then we've not seen justice.
But how does that have the hallmarks of a terrorist attack?
Okay, so how many cars have been mounting pavements in Europe over the past 5 years? How many?
In the absence of independent expertise, ambiguous language can keep theories swirling online and off. In Tommy Robinson's video about the boys' deaths, he couches his words carefully, but it is his floating that something isn't right that travels.
If this was a terrorist attack, and if this was a cover-up, we could be looking at so many more terrorist attacks than we ever could have imagined. And that is a worrying thought.
They said they lost control of the car, but he drove down the path from here to that bridge in a straight line, and he only hit something when when one of the boys run his bonnet and blocked his view. That's when he ran into the lamppost.
Fighting for justice, discussing the 3 children that were murdered in London on the 26th of January this year by terrorists.
We showed some of the claims made online about the incident to the solicitor who represented Janesh Chidasama, the driver of the car.
I've seen him on numerous occasions in prison, and he's constantly telling me to pass messages on to the family of the bereaved.
What sorts of things does he want the families of the poor boys who died to know?
To know that he didn't do it deliberately, that he had drunk too much that afternoon and smoked dope and was driving in a reckless fashion, and he wiped out 3 young boys with their futures, their whole lives ahead of them.
Mr. Lee does feel that the penalties for drink driving offences should be more severe.
I think that the law needs to be changed, and I think that when someone is killed by a driver in the condition that Mr. Chidasama was in, that they should make allowances for aggravating features. And there were 3 in this case: excessive alcohol, dope, and exceeding the speed limit.
In Tracy so far, and like again, I'm not.
No, you are right. But when someone turns round alive and turns round and says, "These Muslims who killed her child was on the watch list," and I believed it. I fucking hunted the streets and fought for her because I believed it. They were Muslims. He was a Hindu, right? But she went to Speaker's Corner, March 2018. Bless her heart, Union Jack Rannet felt sorry for her. We all did. Tommy looked at it, yeah? Tommy looked at it and thought, bang, she went to Tommy for help to get the audience. When we found, not me personally, or Tommy, when it came out, they weren't Muslims. And Tommy could have got nicked over this, like he's going to get nicked over the Syrian boy, yeah? Tommy could have told a load of lies of a story. Where would Tommy have got? Prison. For making false lies up. So Tommy pulled away from it. You don't understand his point, can't you?
I responded months ago to your Facebook page because you said your son had been murdered by a jihadist. I found out that wasn't true. You did nothing to me, Tracy. You did nothing to me. I found out things were a lie.
I had people contact me with further information. Tommy's law, why they don't support, because the case and the facts are contradictory. There's too many differences. Why would you say they were Muslim when you knew they weren't? Why was that your presumption? But your child was not murdered by Muslims. Your child's terrorist attack was probably not a terrorist attack indeed. There are so many facts that have came to light about this story, and I stepped away months ago and I could not support you because it doesn't seem to be a Muslim terrorist attack. They were an Asian family. There was nothing to do with Muslim.
Tracy, I'm not in it for the fame, love. I was in it because I wanted to help people like you, who was killed by a Hindu drunk driver. And an Islamist did not kill your son.